Okay, good morning to all of you. Yes, your session is cancelled. Yeah. Okay. Which is the new location? Which is the new location? Okay. Okay, so in the last lab, we have done the three practicals, right? First one was the networking device. Second one was the networking cables. Third one was the LAN topologies. And networking commands वाला बाकी है, वो लास्ट में करेंगे. LAN topologies तक हुआ है, right? So today we will start with the fifth practical, that is about the implementation of VLAN. You all have joined the meeting or what? मीटिंग ज्वाइन की है तो साथ साथ करते जाओगे. अगर यहाँ पे मैं डेमो दिखाऊं, प्रोजेक्ट स्टार्ट कर दूं, हाँ तो भी कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है.
हेलो मैम.
यस
मैम प्रीवियस लैब में ओनली स्टार टोपोलॉजी एंड बस टोपोलॉजी हुआ था.
हाँ, टोपोलॉजीज वाला प्रैक्टिकल खत्म हो गया दिया.
मैम यही तो हुआ था.
क्या?
ओनली स्टार एंड बस टोपोलॉजी ही हुआ था.
So I have said you just have to implement two topologies out of all. Have you implemented Umang?
Yes ma'am. I have only two implemented madam. One star and another bus topology.
Okay. मैं वो केबल लेके आती हूँ, HDMI केबल नहीं लाई मैं. the inconvenience caused while starting our practical? हाँ कौन? Yes, कोई बोल रहा था, कोई बुला रहा था मुझे. Okay, so we'll start with the practical number 5, that is about the implementation of VLAN concept in a Cisco packet tracer. So I'm pasting the definition in the chat box. Open Cisco packet tracer. Am I clear? Okay. So what we need to do, first of all, we need to understand the virtual local area network, that VLAN. अब ये VLAN होता क्या है? Let's say there are number of devices which is connect networking device, right? मान लो कि अभी बहुत चीज है वो किसी एक networking device के साथ connected है. Now what we need to do, we need to establish a virtual local area network. Virtual local area network मतलब क्या? एक ही नेटवर्क में मल्टीपल लोकल एरिया नेटवर्क को एस्टैब्लिश करना, राइट? यानी कि अगर बहुत सारे पीसीज है, देयर आर सेट ऑफ पीसीज एंड दे आर कनेक्टेड विद वन नेटवर्किंग डिवाइस, so we can establish a multiple local area network into that same network, right? Let's say that I have a 5 PCs which is connected with one networking device. अभी मान लो कि मैंने स्विच के साथ किया है 5 पीसी को, राइट? अभी मुझे वर्चुअल लोकल एरिया नेटवर्क बनाना है, राइट? उसी नेटवर्क में मुझे वर्चुअल लोकल एरिया नेटवर्क बनाना है. तो व्हाट शुड आई डू? मैं क्या करूंगी, यहाँ पे ग्रुप्स बना दूंगी. लेट्स से 2 पीसी का एक ग्रुप, उसमें मैंने वर्चुअल लोकल एरिया नेटवर्क एस्टैब्लिश किया. दूसरे 2 पीसी का एक ग्रुप और बाकी जो एक पीसी बना उस एक ही नेटवर्क में मैंने कितने वर्चुअल नेटवर्क एस्टैब्लिश किए? 3, राइट? तो वही कंसेप्ट हमको यहाँ पे इम्प्लीमेंट करना है कि वो तीनों अलग अलग कैसे बनाएंगे, राइट? अगर कोई ग्रुप नहीं होगा तो वो पांचों पीसी एक दूसरे के साथ कम्युनिकेट कर सकते हैं, बट मैंने 3 ग्रुप्स बना दिए और तीनों को मैंने अलग अलग नेटवर्क फॉर्म में बना दिया. दे कैन नॉट कम्युनिकेट विथ ईच अदर. जो अपने क्लासेस में होंगे उसी के साथ वो कम्युनिकेट कर पाएंगे, राइट? So we have to implement the concept in the Cisco packet tracer here. So for that, open the Cisco packet tracer. Here we have to take one switch. Let me share my screen. स्क्रीन शेयर नहीं हो रही है.
Are you speaking, ma'am?
Yes. Am I audible now? Am I audible, Umang?
Yes, ma'am. Now I have your audio.
Okay. Now the first and the foremost part that you need to do is assigning an IP address to the PCs. तो यहाँ पे मैं क्या करूंगी? We have taken two PCs. So first of all, I am assigning the IP address to the first PC. Let's go to the first PC, desktop, IP address. Let's say I am assigning an IP address 192.168.1.1. Subnet mask will be automatically calculated and close this dialog box. We don't require to give the default gateway here because we are not going to trace the packet, right? Here we need to establish the virtual local area network. हमें यहाँ पे network form कर रहे हैं. We are not going to trace the packet. Then second PC, IP address, IP configuration, and 192.168.1.2. Tab and close this dialog box. Now what you need to do, यहाँ तक हो गया सबका? अगर नहीं हुआ है कर लो ये सब. Done? Okay. Now moving to the, now we have to establish the VLAN. तो उसके लिए मुझे नेटवर्किंग डिवाइस को कॉन्फ़िगर करना पड़ता है, राइट? अगर मुझे कोई नेटवर्क फॉर्म करना है, ऑब्वियसली आई नीड टू कॉन्फ़िगर द नेटवर्किंग डिवाइस, नॉट एन एंड डिवाइस, राइट? So here I am configuring the switch here. So go to the switch. Then you can see here the three tabs. So for that you have to go to the CLI, that is a command line interface, right? वहां पे जाना है. Now the first and the foremost part, यहाँ पे मुझे switch को on करना है. So for that what I need to do, I need to on the switch. Which command is used? ये हमने राउटर में किया था. राउटर को ऑन करने के लिए हमने कौन सा कमांड यूज किया था? यस, कोई बता सकता है? नो, ओपन नहीं. We have used an enable command. If you remember, enable command यूज किया था, राइट? सो यहाँ पे हमें स्विच को ऑन करने के लिए कौन सा कमांड यूज करना है? enable command. You can write en or you can write the whole enable. Then enter. Now I entered into the switch. अभी मैं स्विच में एंटर्ड हुई हूँ, राइट? पर मुझे नेटवर्किंग डिवाइस को कॉन्फ़िगर करना है. सो फॉर दैट आई नीड टू एंटर इनटू द ग्लोबल कॉन्फ़िगरेशन मोड. अभी ग्लोबल कॉन्फ़िगरेशन मोड में एंटर होना है. फॉर दैट वी हैव वन अनदर कमांड. वी हैव ऑलरेडी learned about what is user mode and what is global configuration mode. तो उसके लिए कमांड क्या है? भूल है सब लोग? अभी तो 1 महीना नहीं हुआ है. बोलो, ये पढ़ लिए हैं हम लोग. राउटर को भी हमने सीखा था, राउटर को कैसे कॉन्फ़िगर करते हैं. To enter into the configuration mode, the command is config t. Now I am there in the global configuration mode. You can see the changes in the previous line and in the next line. पहले स्विच क्या लिखा हुआ था? स्विच हैश. अभी क्या दिख रहा है? स्विच config hash. Now I am there in the configuration mode, right? अभी मैं configuration mode पे हूँ. Now what I need to do, let's say कि मुझे स्विच का नेम चेंज करना है. तो उसके लिए कमांड, let's say I'm giving you a hint. If I want to change the host name, what is the command for that? If I want to change the host name, which command is used? सोनू यादव, अभिराज, दिव्यांशु, बजरंग, सो रहे हो क्या? होस्ट नेम is used to change the name of the any networking device. Let's say I'm writing host name, then name क्या रखना है मुझे? Let's say कि S1 रखना है, स्विच का नाम मुझे S1 रखना है. So I'll write host name S1, enter. So you can see the name is changed now. Right? अभी मुझे क्या करना है? Let's say कि मैं यहाँ से कॉन्फ़िगर मोड से एग्जिट हो जाती हूँ और मुझे देखना है कि अभी डिफॉल्ट VLAN कितने हैं. राइट? मैं जो नए VLAN एस्टैब्लिश करती हूँ और जो एग्जिस्टिंग है उसमें मुझे कुछ डिफरेंस तो दिखना चाहिए. तो पहले मैं एग्जिस्टिंग चेक कर लूँ कि कितने हैं. तो फॉर दैट वी हैव अ कमांड शो VLAN एंटर एंड यू कैन सी हियर कि यहाँ पे आपको दिखेंगे. Let me just maximize. You can see here by default there is only one VLAN and all the 24 ports are connected with that VLAN. You can see here fast Ethernet 0/1 से लेके fast Ethernet 0/24 तक सारे जो ports है वो एक ही VLAN के साथ connected है. Right? अभी मुझे क्या करना है? उनको ग्रुप में डिवाइड करना है. समझ में क्या करना है? अभी हमारी सिचुएशन ये है कि एक ही VLAN है. राइट? उसमें ही सारे पोर्ट्स जो है वो बाय डिफॉल्ट लगे हुए हैं. 1 2 24 यहां से दिख तो रहा है ना? दिख रहा है कि नहीं दिख रहा है? शो VLAN से पहले एग्जिट है. कॉन्फ़िग मोड से एग्जिट होना है. तो एग्जिट कंट्रोल Z कर सकते हो तो एग्जिट हो जाओगे. After that you have to write show VLAN. Right? Now what I need to do, अभी ये समझ में आया सिर्फ एक ही VLAN है, यहाँ पे और कोई फील्ड नहीं दिख रहा है. राइट? ये कोई और फील्ड नहीं है उसके नीचे कि VLAN बताता हो. राइट? ना मुझे करना क्या है? यहाँ पे मुझे दो VLAN जो है वो एस्टैब्लिश करना है. तो अगेन आई एंटर इनटू द कॉन्फ़िगरेशन मोड. राइट? फिर से मैं कॉन्फ़िगरेशन मोड पे जाऊंगी. तो फॉर दैट आई हैव अ कमांड config t. देन मुझे एक जो है उसमें एंटर होना है VLAN में. तो लेट्स से कि मैं एक VLAN का नेम दे रही हूँ VLAN 10. मैंने एक VLAN का नाम रखा VLAN 10. राइट? अभी मुझे क्या करना है? उस VLAN का नेम देना है कि लेट्स से कि एक नेटवर्क को मैं सेपरेट कर रही हूं, पर किसके लिए? मुझे कोई नाम तो देना होगा. लेट्स से कि यहाँ पे मैं नेम दे रही हूँ नेम लेट्स से ऑफिस एरिया. आप जो भी नाम दे रहे हो बीच में स्पेस नहीं रख सकते, इसलिए आप अंडरस्कोर यूज कर सकते हो. ठीक है? और यहाँ पे मैंने नाम दिया है नेम ऑफिस एरिया. देन एग्जिट फ्रॉम दैट. तो मेरा एक VLAN जो है वो बन गया. राइट? यहाँ पे मेरा एक VLAN बन गया. लेट्स से अभी मुझे और एक बनाना है VLAN 20. यहाँ पे मैंने दो PC लिए हैं तो दोनों के लिए अलग अलग नेटवर्क में एस्टैब्लिश करूंगी. ऑडियो ऑफ कर दो. देन नेक्स्ट इज VLAN 20 enter and here I am giving the name home area. Enter and exit. तो यहाँ पे मैंने दो VLAN बनाए. एक फॉर ऑफिस एरिया दैट इज VLAN 10 and the another one is VLAN 20 that is for the home area. राइट? अभी यहाँ से मैं एग्जिट हो रही हूँ, यहाँ से फिर से एग्जिट हो रही हूँ एंड देन आई विल चेक कि भाई मैंने जो VLAN बनाए वो बने हैं या नहीं. तो फॉर दैट विच कमांड वी हैव टू यूज? VLAN देखने हो तो show VLAN एंड यू कैन सी हियर कि यहाँ पे मैंने दो जो VLAN बनाए हैं, VLAN 10 एंड VLAN 20, ऑफिस एरिया एंड होम एरिया इज ऑलरेडी क्रिएटेड। आया समझ में? पर अभी भी यहाँ पे मैंने पोर्ट नंबर असाइन नहीं किए, राइट? आप यहाँ पे देख सकते हो कि जो सारे डिफॉल्ट पोर्ट्स है 24 पोर्ट, वो सारे के सारे अभी किसके साथ कनेक्टेड है? डिफॉल्ट VLAN के साथ, राइट? मैंने जो दो VLAN बनाए, VLAN 10 ऑफिस एरिया एंड VLAN 20 होम एरिया, वहां पे कोई भी अभी पोर्ट असाइन नहीं किए गए हैं, राइट? अभी मुझे क्या करना है, लेट्स से कि मैं अगर यहां से पिंग कर रही हूं, तो चेक करते हैं, पिंग 192.168.1.2 मैंने फर्स्ट पीसी में से पिंग किया है, तो ऑब्वियसली आई विल पिंग टू द सेकेंड पीसी, तो सेकेंड पीसी का आईपी एड्रेस देना होगा। तो यू कैन सी हियर कि अभी मैंने सिर्फ VLAN एस्टैब्लिश किया है, उसमें कोई कनेक्शन नहीं दिया है, पोर्ट नंबर जो है वो मैंने असाइन नहीं किए, राइट? तो यहाँ पे जो दो पीसी है वो एक दूसरे के साथ कम्युनिकेट कर सकते हैं। यू कैन सी कि मुझे रिप्लाई मिल रहा है, right? I have pinged from first PC to the second PC. I am getting a reply from the second PC, right? Now let's say कि अगर second PC से मैं ping कर रही हूँ, I am pinging from the second PC, writing a command ping 192.168.1.1 and enter. I am getting a reply from the first PC. यानी कि अभी क्या है, दोनों एक ही नेटवर्क पे है, राइट? अभी मैं उसको सेपरेट कर रही हूँ, डिवाइड कर रही हूँ, राइट, बाय असाइनिंग द पोर्ट नंबर्स। सो अगेन आई एम गोइंग टू द स्विच, यहाँ पे मैं जाऊंगी फिर से स्विच में, और मुझे क्या करना है, पोर्ट को इनिशियलाइज करना है, राइट? नाउ लेट्स से कि अगर पोर्ट को मुझे इनिशियलाइज करना है, व्हाट आई नीड टू डू, आई नीड टू एंटर इनटू द कॉन्फ़िगरेशन मोड। So I'm writing the command config t, initializing the first port, that is INTF is 0/1। यहाँ पे INT है वो INT नहीं है, यहाँ पे INT का मतलब है इनिशियलाइजेशन, राइट? अगर वाइवा में ऐसा क्वेश्चन पूछ लेते व्हाट इज INT while using the VLAN, then you should not say it's an integer, ठीक है? ये इनिशियलाइजेशन है ऑफ द पोर्ट। So INTF is 0/1, assigning a switch port, so I'll write switch port mode access, then another command switch port access। कौन से VLAN को असाइन करना है? VLAN 10 को FA0/1 पोर्ट असाइन करना है, राइट? तो यहाँ पे मैं लिखूंगी स्विच पोर्ट एक्सेस VLAN 10। After that, exit from that, again assigning another VLAN, right? Assigning a port to the another VLAN. So initializing FA0/2, enter, switch port mode access and switch port access VLAN 20। एग्जिट। अभी मैंने दोनों पीसी को एक पोर्ट असाइन कर दिया है, यानी कि अब जो दो पीसी है वो अलग अलग लोकल एरिया नेटवर्क फॉर्म हो गए उसके, राइट? अभी वो एक दूसरे को पिंग नहीं कर सकते। लेट्स चेक दैट। कमांड प्रॉम्प्ट पिंग सेकेंड पीसी, यहाँ पे मैंने फर्स्ट पीसी में से कमांड प्रॉम्प्ट खोला है, राइटिंग द पिंग कमांड एंड पिंगिंग टू द सेकंड पीसी। तो आईपी एड्रेस किसका होगा? सेकंड पीसी का। एंड सी इट वर्क्स। यहाँ पे अब क्या दिखाई दे रहा है? रिक्वेस्ट टाइम आउट। अब वो दोनों है वो अलग अलग नेटवर्क फॉर्म हो गए हैं, राइट? बोथ आर नाउ इन अ डिफरेंट नेटवर्क। समझ में आया? नाउ अभी मुझे स्विच में से अगर कुछ देखना है कि भाई वो असाइन हुए हैं या नहीं, तो हाउ कैन आई सी दैट? तो आप यहाँ पे देख सकते हो जो मैंने फर्स्ट VLAN बनाया था 10 फॉर ऑफिस एरिया एंड द पोर्ट इज असाइंड इज FA0/1. I have highlighted, you can see this, right? जो सेकेंड VLAN बनाया था फॉर होम एरिया, that is you can see the port number assigned, that is FA0/2. Now let's say कि you है वो अलग VLAN बन गया। और दूसरा जो है वो अलग बन गया। Now let's say कि जो ये है, this is a VLAN 10 and this is a VLAN 20, right? Now मान लो कि भाई VLAN 10 है वो एक अलग नेटवर्क है, VLAN मान लो नहीं है ही, VLAN 10 अलग नेटवर्क है, VLAN 20 अलग नेटवर्क है। VLAN 10 में मुझे और नंबर ऑफ पीसीज ऐड करने हैं, हो सकता है बाय कॉन्फ़िगरिंग दिस स्विच। अभी मैं यहाँ पे फिजिकली जो है, लेट्स से कि मैंने यहाँ पे एक पीसी ऐड किया and I have given the connection to this, right? अभी मुझे क्या करना होगा, ये जो तीसरा पीसी है पहले तो मैं उसको आईपी एड्रेस असाइन करूंगी। तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आई विल गिव द आईपी एड्रेस 192.168.1.3, राइट? ये तीसरा पीसी है, टैब एंड 0। तो यहाँ पे VLAN 10 में कौन सा एड्रेस वाले पीसी है? 1.1 और 1.3, राइट? अभी मुझे तीसरा जो पीसी ऐड किया, द थर्ड पीसी विच आई हैव एडेड, आई नीड टू कॉन्फ़िगर फॉर द VLAN 10। तो ये हो सकता है इनिशियलाइज कौन सा करना पड़ेगा? पोर्ट। जो हमने दोनों पीसी के लिए पोर्ट इनिशियलाइज किए थे, फर्स्ट पीसी के लिए इनिशियलाइजेशन FA0/1 और सेकेंड पीसी के लिए FA0/2। तो वैसे तीसरे पीसी के लिए FA0/3 तो हो सकता है। जस्ट राइट बाय योर्स। जो दो पीसी के लिए किया वही तीसरे पीसी के लिए करना है। क्या हुआ? ऐसे नहीं करना है, यहाँ से ये वही कर रहा था। हाँ, पर तुमने आउटलाइन नहीं लिया होगा ना, तुमने फिल कलर लिया होगा, ये आउटलाइन लेनी है। एंड देन ये फिल क्यों हो रहा है? नो फिल कर दो। हाँ, सिलेक्ट करके करो, हो जाएगा। पहले डिलीट कर दो उसको। हो रहा है, आपने किया। आज फर्स्ट लेक्चर है आपका। क्या है आपका नाम? धैर्य। धैर्य खानपरा। अच्छा, और कोई होगा? तुम्हारा फर्स्ट लेक्चर है आज? आया था पहले ये? क्या है तुम्हारा नाम? अभिराज, तो वो भी अभिराज है? वो आशीष है, ये अभिराज। ओके, यहाँ से एनेबल कर दो। एनेबल अभी config t, राइट? अभी कौन से तीसरे पीसी के लिए कर रहे हो? फर्स्ट और सेकंड के लिए हो गया कि बाकी है? हाँ तो पहले वो करो। कैसे किया जाता है? पहले फर्स्ट को इनिशियलाइज करना है, राइट? तो वो कैसे करोगे? INTFA 0/1, देन उसके बाद क्या करना है? स्विच पोर्ट मोड एक्सेस पोर्ट एक्सेस। तुमने VLAN बनाया कि वो भी नहीं बनाया? VLAN बनाया है? तुम्हारे सारे कमांड्स ही बाकी है। ये मैं कमांड्स वाला जो है वो फिर से दिखा रही हूँ। एक मिनट। पहले ये वाले कमांड्स लिख दो। एनेबल करके करो, एनेबल करो फिर हो जाएगा। कनेक्शन, उसके बाद कुछ कमांड्स ही नहीं दिए, बाकी है आईपी एड्रेस दिया है। अभी ये जो सामने कमांड लिखे दिख रहा है यहाँ से, हाँ वो सारे कमांड्स लिख दो। CLI, ठीक है, एंटर करो, आ जाएगा। एनेबल से लिखो, एनेबल करो पहले, एनेबल लिखो। हम्म, आईपी एड्रेस जो डाल रहे हो वो आपको याद होना चाहिए। नेटवर्क शुड बी सेम, होस्ट डिफरेंट होगा तो चलेगा। 192.168.1.3 नेटवर्क पार्ट सेम रखना है, होस्ट को है वो अलग रखना है। तीनों में अलग अलग ही होंगे, पर होस्ट वाला चेंज होगा। फर्स्ट में क्या दिया? 192.168.1.1, दूसरे में 192.168.1.2, ऐसे अलग देना है, पूरा का पूरा अलग नहीं। मैंने तो क्लोज कर दिया अभी। ओके, यहाँ पे मैं कुछ कमांड्स लिख रही हूँ, वो आपको सीक्वेंस में रखने हैं, ठीक है? पहले आईपी एड्रेस असाइन करना तो आता है सबको, राइट? उसके बाद आपको एनेबल करना है स्विच को, राइट? ठीक है, उसके बाद एनेबल करने के बाद क्या करना है? कॉन्फ़िग करना है। config t, देन उसके बाद करना है VLAN tan name office area exit VLAN 20, स्पेस रखनी है VLAN 20, देन नेम होम एरिया एग्जिट। अभी इतना करने के बाद आपको क्या करना है, एक और बार एग्जिट करोगे तो आपको वो कॉन्फ़िगरेशन मोड से बाहर आ जाओगे। उसके बाद व्हाट यू नीड टू डू, फिर से आपको कॉन्फ़िग मोड में जाना है, कॉन्फ़िग टी, initializing the first port FA0/1, देन उसके बाद करना है स्विच पोर्ट मोड एक्सेस, देन स्विच पोर्ट एक्सेस VLAN 10 and exit. Initializing the another port 0/2, switch port mode access, switch port access VLAN 20 and exit. सारे कमांड्स मैंने यहाँ पे लिख दिए चैट बॉक्स में, हो गया? गुड। ओके, नाउ batch A, B, C, you all have to stay here only, right? आस्था मैम और देवल मैम कोई एक यहाँ पे आएगी और वो लैब करवा, देवल मैम इज देयर, ओके।
So good morning, students. Am I audible to you, all online students?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So rather conducting, but I am not getting that request over here, Zenith. Is there any other students who are trying to join? Then I will inform Twinkle Madam to do the same. Okay, fine. Just a minute, and yes, today we'll cover this lecture session because that is quite okay, madam. Thank you. Because in laboratory session, we'll have Unit 3 and 4 of your SRS report. So that will cover in the next week, right, along with other chapters. So better will utilize this. Okay, madam. We'll utilize this time in this lecture unit. Okay. So let's start. So students, please concentrate over here. Can we start? Okay. So in the last lecture, if you guys can recall, we had completed all the three types of COCOMO model, in which one is basic, second one is intermediate, and third one is the complete, right? So in the basic model, intermediate model, we are having some of these two model, basic and intermediate. But in the basic, you just need to remember these two formulas. One is for the efforts, and another one is for the development time, right? Okay. And KDSI is the same as kilo line of code. You might have some different full form, like here it is like kilo development force information. Whereas that KLOC, that means kilo line of code. But both are treated as the same magnitude, right? So you need to put whatever it is there. Now in the exam, suppose in the given information it is given like 300 KLOC. Please remember this word 300K LOC. So in that case, in this formula, you need to keep 300 as it is. Let me write down one more time and then I will speak again. Say for example, in the example is given like, okay, let me take this 300K LOC. Okay. That means in this bracket, in this formula, that is the computation.
Hello, ma'am.
It is nothing but to compare it. Here, okay.
Hello, ma'am.
And say, for example, in the example given like 32,000 lines or whatever.
Hello.
Okay. So in that case, you need to, sorry. Yes, we need to take here whatever it is, if for example it is 40, then we have 2.5. Otherwise, some difference. So here it is simply need to take 32. Okay, so if it is 32,000 of line like this given, say for example, here they have
Hello,
given
ma'am.
400K LOC. So we had taken as it is 400, and in this same second example, see they have given 32 lines. Right, so in that case, you need to take simply 32 over here. Okay, fine. In the intermediate, we need to add one new thing, that is EAF. So in the exam, EAF value will be given, which is based on this 15 factors. Okay, so that will be given, which you just need to multiply over here. Formula will remain same of this effort, but additional thing, that is EAF, which you need to multiply. Okay, so that is in case of intermediate. And the last one, that is the complete COCOMO, Regarding this particular model will not have any numerics in the exam, but what they are trying to say that here will have combination of basic as well as intermediate, where we are individually finding course of COCOMO and at the end we are summing up all those courses. Okay, that one change you need to remember. Fine. So now we are starting with this project scheduling and tracking, which is one major topic of your second last topic of your entire chapter. Okay, so we are starting with this project scheduling, where we are talking about what do you mean by scheduling, why we require, what are the principles, and in that what are the steps we need to follow. So in that step we need to create various diagrams, various information chart. So we'll try to see that topic over here. Okay. Now it is proper, students. Okay, fine. So project scheduling, that means it is an action that distribute estimated effort across the planned project duration by allocating the effort to specific software engineering task. Scheduling, what basically we are doing, we are scheduling each and is on which we are focusing. The very first one is compartmentalization. So in which we are dividing several. So whatever activities we had divided, for that we are identifying that. Still breaking? Yes, that was breaking, I guess, at 8:40. You can verify. After that, I had again asked, and they are saying now it is not breaking. Okay, now I am getting some. Still, it is breaking. Sorry, Bluetooth device, but I forgot at home. Just. But if there is a net issue, now it is clear. Now it is clear. Okay, wait. I will again try. Then I will come. Let me stand over here. Now it is clear, right? Okay, I am close to mic as possible as. Okay, fine. Okay. So interdependency, that means the each whatever activity we had divided on the earlier stage, those tasks must be defined as a interdependent manner, right? They should not be dependent, otherwise we cannot modulate them. Okay. Now the next principle are okay. The first one is the time allocation. As the name suggests, they are as simple as the given name, right? So in the time allocation, each task must assign a start time and the completion time. Okay. Second thing is effort validation. So project manager must assure that on any given day, there are enough staff members assigned to complete the task. It is not like that whatever distribution you had done, in which there are some days on which there are no working staff available, right? You need to divide in a fair manner. Okay, so there must be some enough staff on each day to perform some set of activities. Okay, the third one is define responsibilities. Obviously, that is one of the major tasks in the scheduling. You need to define some appropriate responsibilities. And fourth one is define the outcome. If you have not defined the outcome, then there is no meaning of any scheduling. Okay, there must be some goal for which you are working, right? So that must be defined. Fine. What are the next principle in this? One is define the milestone. So that is quite similar to your goal. Okay, so in the milestone, Each task or group of tasks should be associated with a project milestone. A milestone is accomplished when one or more work product has been reviewed for quality and has been approved. Right? So that is like we had achieved our milestone, whatever is informed by our project manager. Okay. Actually, in this subject, you might found that everything is known by you. But whenever you are starting to write the answer in the exam, you might found that you might feel that what should be the right? So just try to remember all those topics in such a way that at least key points should be remembered at that time. Content is fine. You can easily write down if you are able to recall this major topic. Okay. Okay, milestone, that means whenever you had formed the group, whenever you had from some task, you might have defined the deadline, you might have defined the what should be done. I mean, what are the tasks should be completed at the end of that particular task, right? So if we are achieving that milestone, those activities at the end of day, at the end of that particular project, so that is treated as a milestone. We are near to that particular phase of success. So what are the principles we had seen? One is time allocation, second one is effort validation, third one is, yes, responsibilities, outcome, and fifth one is milestone. Good. Okay, now in the effort distribution, this is the general criteria just for your understanding that, see, 100% task should be done, right? So that 100% we are dividing in which three major categories. So the very first one is like 40% of task we are dividing in the analysis and design perspective. Because see, if you have correctly analyzed the customer's requirement, that means there are very less chance to have some miscommunication, to have some misinterpretation at the end of your implementation, right? And same way the designing. You might have heard that UX, UI designing part nowadays, right? So that rather than focusing on that implementation task, major thing on which we are focusing, that is UX, UI designing. The UI, that means user interface, UX, that means user experience. So whatever your user demanding nowadays, that first you are trying to give as a blueprint. Like you might have those wireframes, those Adobe Photoshop, those Canva tool on which you are drawing all the tools, all the GUI. Like let's suppose you are preparing one application, say for example WhatsApp. So what is look and feel of your WhatsApp? Say for example, if someone is clicking on status bar, then from that where it is redirecting, right? So using all those tools, you are able to draft each and every linking of your tool. If I say for example, someone is click on that first screen, then where it is redirecting, from that where it is again redirecting, right? So that complete flow you are able to give with help of this tool. So once this task is done, implementation is quite easy. And even nowadays we'll have that tool like let's suppose we are clicking on that button, then at the back side we'll have ready-made code, right? So if someone is demanding that you need to convert it in the Python, you need to convert it in JavaScript, then also you are having some online tool which is directly converting your code, right? So implementation is quite easy nowadays as compared to this analysis and designing part. So we are giving 40% of our time or efforts in this analysis and designing phase, 20% of effort in this programming, and yes, nowadays quite tricky and interesting app we are creating, right? So remaining 40% we need to give to the testing committee, right? Which is neither of your analysis or designing committee, or it is again different than that implementation committee, coding committee, right? Because they are only responsible to deploy some better product to the customer. if we'll have some query in that given product, then that should be reflected with help of tester committee to your developer or designing committee that it is wrongly developed, please change this thing, right? So distribution is clear. Fine. Now the next is, there are major two scheduling method which we'll see in this particular chapter. We'll have one numeric, or you can say some tracing related to this CPM, that is a critical path method. Okay, and second one, that is PERT, program evaluation and review technique, on which will not have numerics, but we need to analyze that what technique we are focusing on this. Okay, so these two techniques we are going to see as a scheduling method in this. Now how they are treated? Okay, so both the techniques are driven by information already developed in earlier project planning activities. So what are the activities we had defined? The first one is estimates of effort. Second one is decomposition of the product function, that is FP, which we had earlier learned, right? FP, function points. Third one is the selection of the appropriate process model and task set. And fourth one is decomposition of the tasks that are selected. Okay, so these are the activities we are also focusing while we are performing the scheduling. Now, apart from this, both the PERT and CPM provide quantitative tools that allows you to define what are the things. One is the critical path. So what do you mean by critical path? The chain of tasks that determine the duration of your project. Okay, so how much duration you require in this entire implementation, that will be treated as a critical path in your implementation. Okay, the second entity is establish most likely time. So what do you mean by that most likely time? That will estimate for individual tasks by applying statistical method. So in statistic, what you are applying, that how much time you will require, what are the frequently coming methods, frequently coming functions, right? So everything you are able to measure in the form of statistical tool. Okay, and the third one is calculate boundary time. So in which the time window for a particular task, that means what should be the boundary to complete this particular task. Okay, so that you can define in this scheduling task. Now the next is okay. So project manager. Now what is the task of project manager in this scheduling? So project manager will perform the 7 tasks. So what are that 7 tasks? We'll see in detail one by one. The first one is identify all the tasks needed to complete the project. So here we are dividing simply the task. The second one is break down large tasks into the smaller activities. So that is treated as a work breakdown structure. So same we'll see in the next slide, that what do you mean by work breakdown structure. Okay. Third one is activity network, in which we are defining several activities. Along with that activities, we are providing the duration which required to complete the same activity. Okay. Fourth one is establish the most likely estimate for the time duration necessary to complete the activities. Right, that is quite theoretical step, so we are not going in depth for this step. Fifth one is provide the Gantt chart. So in that Gantt chart, we'll have list of activities, and here column wise will have set of time duration. Say for example, if we are taking review at each 7 days, then we'll have estimate like on the 7th July, what is the time done? On the 14th July, what is the time done? What is the reviewer committee will give you the analysis, right? So we'll have those type of analysis in monthly basis. That activity we'll do in this Gantt chart. And the sixth one is plan the starting and ending dates for various activities. Obviously, that must be having with us. And seventh step is determine the critical path. A critical path is the chain of activities that determine the duration of project. So in that critical path, we'll have detail like what is the starting time of particular activity, what is the ending time. In short, we'll providing entire forward and backward path, right? So no worries, that entire topic we'll see in detail. Okay, so let's start with the first, that is work breakdown. This one, okay, work breakdown. This work breakdown we'll see. So that is treated as a WBS. So that provide a notation for representing the measure task need to be carried out in order to solve the problem. So here we are trying to draft list of activities in the flow of, you can say, in the tree structure. Okay. So WBS is used to decompose given task set recursively into small activities. So better you can see directly this entire structure. Yes, I had written full form somewhere. Okay, that is management information information system. Okay, so what are the information you are managing in this particular diagram? First one is the requirement specification, where you are collecting the requirement from your customers. The second one is the design, in which you are designing your project, whatever is the requirement of your customer. The third one is code, that means in which we are performing the implementation. Fourth one is testing, and fifth one is the document. Document, that means you are providing some user manual which will be just easy to use your product for the customer, right, in which you had written each and every steps. Now whatever steps you had mentioned in this first level, that again can be break down in the further level. So you can see over here, design can be broken in these two parts. One is database part, that can be considered as a back-end activities, right? And second one is the graphical user interface part, that is kind of front-end activities, right? So you can divide your entire design in these two sub-part. One is back-end activities, another is front-end activities. The next is testing. So in the testing, one testing can be performed in the database, like whatever query you are firing. Suppose you are performing registration, you are performing login. So some of the entities you need to keep as a primary key, some of as a secondary, and there are so many distribution, right? So that whether it is working perfectly or no, that you are able to see in this part, that is database testing. And the second one is graphical user interface. Whatever button you are clicking, that is redirecting on the appropriate module or not. So that you are defining in this. Okay, fine. Second is activity network. So as I had said, in this activity network, you might found some digit along with each module. Are you able to see this? Like specification is having 15, design database part is having 45, right? So this is nothing but it is giving you information of your time duration which is required at each step. We'll discuss in this particular slide, but before that, let me show you this thing. See, first one is the specification. So here we'll have last finish time. Here we'll have last start time. So if you will perform subtract of this two, in that you are able to get this time duration. See, for specification, it is like 15 minus 0. So you are getting 15 over here, yes or no? Right. Say for example, in code database part, let me compare. In the code database part, here you are having 165, here you are having 60. So if you will perform the subtraction, you are getting 105. So that is written over here 105. So everyone getting? So here we had analyzed set of activities. Like initially we'll have specification, from which one thing we are providing, that is design part. Second we are starting, that is database creation. Third thing we are starting, that is write user manual. Why? Because once designing is ready, we can easily prepare the manual. For that we are not required to have the implementation, right? So these three activities we can perform in the parallel manner. Okay, fine. Once we are done with that particular task, what next we need to perform? From this database design, we can start to have coding of that database line. Same way, from this designing part, we can start coding of that front end, right? And this manual we can directly deploy at the time of finishing our entire activities, right? And from this database code and from this GUI code, we are able to perform the testing. So here we had divided each activity with that required duration. Okay, fine. Now, what are these ES, EF, LS, LF and ST? So that configuration they have given in this slide, which again we are using in the case of CPM, which is critical path method. So the first thing is, what do you mean by critical path? We had already seen the definition. Can anyone recall? Critical path, that means the time required in the, before 2-3 slides we had seen. Time required in, yes, kind of we can say. It is duration which we require in the completion of your project, correct? So here, critical path is a sequence of critical tasks or activities, and it is the largest path in the project network. So see, you might have different path to reach your destination, but in the critical path we are considering the path which will require the largest path to reach at our destination. Okay. So it gives us the minimal time which is required to complete the whole project, right? But that path can be considered as a largest path, but we are able to complete them in a minimal number of time. Okay. Now this 4 term which you need to remember. The first one is earliest start. Okay, that is treated as a ES. Actually, you need to remember the formula, which is very easy, right? So what do you mean by ES? It is time of a task is a maximum of all path from the start of the task. That means some activities is starting at a 1, some at a 2, some at a 3. So we are selecting that 3 as a starting time. So say for example, if we are having 2 tasks, B and C, which is initiated from A, right? So if that B and C is dependent on that A, right, then from that A we are selecting the maximum value. Are you getting or not? Say for example, okay, let me give you reverse example. We are having 2 predecessors, that is B and C. from that B and C, we are starting the D activities. Okay, let me tell you with this. Okay, here you can see, yes, that this finished task. Are you able to see this finished task? That is dependent on this testing as well as on this module, right? So to start the finish time, we are selecting the highest value of that starting time. Let's suppose testing is completed at 2 o'clock and manual written is completed at 3 o'clock. So at which time we need to start this finish task? At 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock? Definitely 3 o'clock, right? That means we are considering the higher value from that. Are you getting? Okay. The second one is earliest finish time of a task is the sum of the earliest time start plus the duration which you require to complete that task. So say for example, one activity started at 2 o'clock, right? And if we required 3 hours more to complete that particular activity, so what is the total time we required? Just a moment. Okay, so the next is, yes, one more thing. Let's keep text. If someone will be checking that and getting it from you are not making कैमरा इससे बोला नहीं पर रजिस्टर सर्वर कोई भी आ रही है that is why if you want or not but maintain all this. So the first that is, sorry, second that is EF. So in which how you are able to identify EF term, whatever is your starting time, right, in which you need to add the duration. Say for example, one task is started at 2, it is required 3 extra hours to complete that activity. So 2 plus 3, that means at a 5 o'clock you are able to complete that activity. Okay. The third thing is the latest finish time. That is the time of a task can be obtained by subtracting maximum of all path from the task to finish. So say for example, one is started at 11 o'clock and if the highest time to finish that is 2 o'clock, so we need to perform the subtraction, right? And the last one is the start time. That is, in most of the case it is same, but the difference is, it is the difference between the latest finish time and the time required to complete the activity. So if in case we are having different in the finish time and this completion of activity time, then we'll have difference in this activity, otherwise it will remain the same. No worries, we'll have next example. Okay, this is just for your understanding that specification will have this ES, which is nothing but the starting. So initially it is having 0, right? It will require this 50 minutes or hours or days, whatever you can consider, because they have not specified the unit. Okay, but how this EF we are calculating? That is LF, that is latest finish minus latest start. Okay, so you can check this thing. You are preparing like this. In some of the case it is same. Why? Because it is different module to start, which is not dependent on your previous activities, right? Okay, that is fine. If you are not getting this table, our example is not dependent on this thing, right? Now we are starting with the example. Just a minute. So here in this table, you can see what three things are given to you. One is list of activities. Second one is information of the predecessor. Predecessor, that means the particular activity which is initiated from which route. Okay, say for example over here they have written activity B, right? So B is initiated from A, right? So that is the information of your origin, of your parent node, or you can consider of your root node, right? Same way for this activity called C, it is also initiated from root called A. So you can draw like this, just precisely verify this diagram. I think this information must be clear at your end because the same you had seen in your data structure, right? So just verify this diagram, it is correct. Are you able to share your screen? If this board is visible to student, then it might be. Can you use this? Just try if it is visible. Without this, it might be. Student board is visible
Yes, ma'am.
because I need to perform sum for the same.
No,
So if it is
no, ma'am.
visible for you,
No, ma'am.
it is
Board is
not
not visible,
visible.
ma'am.
See the screen
Yes, ma'am.
presented by Deria. I had not written anything. Let me try, okay? Then you can tell your comments. If it is not visible, then I will try to perform. Let me try. visible? Okay, so with this information, first task is you need to draw the tree. You need to draw the diagram, right? So these are the details of your root node from which we are originating, right? So we start drawing our tree like this. Like first is the node number A, right? Now this node number B and C are originated from A. So how we can draw that? We can draw like this. That B is originating from A, same way C is also originated. Okay. After that, you can see this node number B is generated from this node number. Sorry, node number D is generated from node number B. Right. So with this B, you need to connect node number D. Is it fine? Same way from this node number E that is originated from node number C. So from C you need to draw node number E. Okay. Now this node number G is connected, so it is originated from B as well as E. Okay. So here you need to merge this thing like this. And here you can draw the G. Is it fine? And the last one, that is H node, which is originated from, if I forget, fine? Okay. So H is originated from F as well as G. So here you can write down like this. Now this is fine for everyone. Now we need to draw the number of boxes like this. Like this, okay? So say for example our first node is the A. So we are drawing like this. Then after B. Then after C. Then after D. Yes. Let me explain. Students, no worry if you are not able to see. I will upload photo as well as I will try to explain the same on the Word or Paint. Okay, we'll have again same session today in your class. So no worries. If you are able to see, try to see. Otherwise, no. Should I close this thing because I guess there is a reflection. No need of projector, right? Is better. bits you need to write in each of the box, right? So what are those details? First one is the activity. So say for example, this box we have created for the activity called A. Okay. So here in the activity you need to mention the alphabetic name or whatsoever given in your data. Okay. Second one is the duration. So duration is also having with us that in the data itself. So you can mention that respective duration over here. Say for example, A activity requires 3 hours. Okay. So the duration you can mention it every place. Yes or no? This two things is fine. Okay, let me complete for entire table. Here it is. B. The duration is 4. Here it is. C. The duration is 2. Okay, after that, here it is D. The duration is 5. In here 5. In the E, here it is E. Duration is 1. And here it is E. Duration is 5. For F, 2. Here it is A. Duration is 2. Here for G, 4, right? Which 5. So up to this it is fine for everyone? Okay, fine. Now, as this is the first activity, here you need to mention the detail of ES, early start. But first activity should start with 0. Yes or no? Let's look it like right? Right. So ES that means your starting time. Duration we are having. Then which quantity we are able to identify? This finish time. Yes or no? We need to add 0 plus 3 over here. Everyone, it is clear. So 0 plus 3. That means here we are getting that is ES plus ES plus your duration. Everyone clear with this? Fine. Shall we move? Okay. Now this 3, which is finishing time of your first process, that is connected with this D number process, right? So this 3 should be the starting of this B. This is fine for everyone. The same will be redirected over here. Because C is also coming from process A. That's here it is also 3. Now for B and C, we are able to identify finish time, that is 3 plus 4, that is 7. 3 plus 2, that is 5. Clear everyone? Now 7 we are giving to this process. So that is now 7 plus 5, we are getting 12. And here, in both the case, we are need to give 5. So here 5, here also 5. So 5 plus 1 will give you 6. 5 plus 2 will give you 7. Is it fine? Now you can see here in the G, one process is 12 and in at 12 completing, another is 6. So what we need to take? 12 higher, right? So here we are taking 12. Yes, 12? Maximum 12. So 12 plus 4, that means 16. And here it is 16 or 7? Yes. So 16 plus 3 give you 19. Is it fine? So this is treated as a forward forward pass. This is called as a forward okay. Why? Because we had completed our entire pass in this forward manner. I am treating this is treated as a forward pass. Okay. Up to this it is fine. You may ask in case of query. Fine. Now we'll try to perform the backward. It will take just 2 minutes, so we'll complete it. So see, this is the last, sorry, this is the early finish time of your last process, right? So the process is last, okay? So for the same process, the same timing will be treated as a latest finish. Why? Because that process is last, it is not giving any other process in the future, right? In the queue. So as this is the last process, for that process, your EF is equal to your NF. That is the last finish. Everyone clear? Now, this one entity we are able to identify with the help of that last finish, that is your latest finish, that is your NF minus duration. So 19 minus 3, that means 19 minus 3, 60. So here it is 60. Everyone clear? Now, whatever is your latest start, right? On which your last process has just completed the computation. The same you need to redirect in both the case, right? So the same entity you need to redirect in both the case. So here it is 16, same way here it is also 16. So now for both the case, I am able to compute latest start. Here it is like 16 minus 4, that is 12. Here it is like 16 minus 2, that is 14. Now it is fine. Here 16 minus 2, LF minus duration. LF is what? Duration is this. Okay. Now it is clear. You may ask in case of query. Now this 12 we need to redirect which two places? Activity E as well as activity. This 12 we need to redirect which two places? D and E. So here it is 12, here it is 12. So 12 minus 1, 7. And 12 minus 1, 11. Now there is one more task we need to identify. See, this process C we have given to E as well as F. Now we need to take roll with the term. One is 7, one is 14. So this is the latest start, right? So in case of latest start, you need to select the minimal term. Whereas in the starting of next task, we are selecting the higher values. Here we need to select the less. So it is like 11. Okay? It is like 11. So 11 minus 2, 1. Here it is 7. 7 minus 4, 3. And again, which we need to select? everyone getting? You are getting? आपको समझ में आ रहा है? Okay, fine, students. Still we'll have second session. Those who are online, if you are not getting, just let me know in that class, okay? Thank you, everyone. You may leave. Just write down your enrollment number and then you can leave.